We are here to Field Rocks News. This is Rocks Field Podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Lachard Binkley. And this is a quick recap of the Houston Rockets' huge win over the Phoenix Suns, 114 to 110. A game that seemed like it was slipping out of their hands early, where the Rockets were down 16 points earlier in the game. And then the two rookies, Cam Whitmore and Amen Thompson, came in and absolutely saved this game for the Houston Rockets. Without those two rookies, this game would have got out of hand quick, and we would have another blowout on our hands with the Rockets coming out on the losing end. But Amen Thompson, Cam Whitmore came in that second quarter and into the first quarter, second quarter, and they completely took the game over. Amen Thompson with great defense on one end, able to get to the basket, offensive rebounds on the other end. Cam Whitmore had a three, had a lot of hustle plays, and just their overall energy just made a huge difference in this game. As again, the Rockets were able to pull the game out 114 to 110 as they were able to end their losing streak. And they were able to get a big win over a really good team in the Phoenix Suns, even though they were playing without Bradley Beal, but they still had Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. So, I mean, they still had two all-star level players. So the fact that the Rockets were able to come back from double digits and able to pull out this victory is definitely a huge when it comes to how the Rockets been playing lately. Like I said, the Rockets were down double digits early, was able to fight back, and they actually got to the point where they were up double digits in the third quarter. But like we kind of expected, Phoenix was able to kind of slowly creep back into it, especially in the fourth quarter. Bol just went crazy in the second half. He was getting and ones left and right, block shots. And then, of course, Kevin Durant started to take over in the fourth quarter. But in that fourth quarter, the Rockets were able to make enough plays down the stretch to be able to pull out the game. It turned into a free throw contest for the Rockets. Missed a few free throws, made a few mistakes, but they were, like I said, were able to make the plays that they needed. Kevin Durant missed a big free throw at the end that pretty much secured the game for the Rockets as the Rockets were able to pull out that victory again. Like I said, 114 to 110. They're now 20-9 at home. Complete different home team than they are on the road. It's like night and day when you see them on the road and at home. So they're definitely a much better home team. And again, they'll be at home playing the Oklahoma City Thunder on Sunday. As we're going to go through some of these stats and some of the players that kind of stood out. Fred VanVleet definitely had a bounce back game. The first, I would say, 5.5 quarters, he was not good coming out of the All-Star break. He had a bad game against the Pelicans, like pretty much everybody on the Rockets outside of Amen Thompson. And he started off this game slow as well, like with the rest of the starters. Started off this game really slow until the bench players came in, like Amen and Cam, and made a huge difference and kind of put that pressure on them. You kind of tell, like, okay, man, these guys are going to really put some pressure on us. We may not get the minutes that we think we're going to get. So you saw Amen and Cam lit a fire under the starters, and Fred VanVleet, especially in that second, third quarter, and he just could not miss. He finished on the night with 23 points. If I'm not mistaken, he had he had 23 points. He had 3 or 4 from free throw line and 6 of 14 from the three-point line, considering how bad the Rockets has just been shooting overall from the three-point line. The fact that they made 15 three-pointers, even though they only shot 33%, that's still pretty good for a Rockets team that seems to struggle definitely night in, night out, just trying to hit beyond the arc. And like I said, Fred VanVleet stepped up in that second quarter. Jabari Smith. Don't want to go too far without talking about Jabari Smith, who had 22 points, 16 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block. One of Jabari Smith's best overall games of the entire season. He hit the big free throws at the end. He did miss the one, but then he came back and made 2 huge free throws. He was getting huge offensive rebounds. He was making huge plays down the stretch, especially when the Rockets were struggling in that fourth quarter. So you definitely got to give it to Jabari Smith, who was 7 of 8 from the free throw line, had a huge game as well. Sengun, again, struggled a little bit from the field, but again, teams are playing Sengun a lot different now. They are double teaming him hard. As soon as he gets the ball, they're coming at him hard because they know the Rockets struggle from the outside. So he's not getting the one-on-one like he was getting at the beginning of the season. But he still had 17 points, 12 rebounds, still had a really good game, only 2 turnovers. The amount of pressure that they were putting on him, the fact that he only had 2 turnovers, that was huge for Sengun. So he definitely had a good game. But like I said, I'm going to circle back around to the rookies. Cam Whitmore and Amen Thompson both had 15 points off the bench, which was huge. The Rockets bench outscored Phoenix Suns bench. Another big reason why they won the game. But not only did Amen Thompson have the 15 points, but he had another double-double. He had 10 rebounds. He was a plus 14 from the field. And he also had 2 blocks. Of course, the huge block on Bol, who was 7'2", 7'3". Not many times any player in the league is going to get a block one-on-one with somebody. Usually it's going to be a weak side block, or they're coming from behind and they're blocking it out of bounds. But Amen Thompson, who, yes, he is 6'6", 6'7", but he's still 5'6" shorter than Bol. And he was able to go up and get the block. And even when Bol got it back, he still contested the second play. And that tells you how quick, how much of an athlete, how important Amen is going to be to this team going forward, because he actually plays legitimate defense. He's already one of the best rebounders on the team. He's already one of the best perimeter defenders on the team. And he's probably going to give you the most hustle out of anybody on the team. He's always going to bring energy. So even when he's struggling from the field, even if he's not hitting threes, even when he's not scoring, he's the type of player that's going to affect the game on both sides of the ball. He can affect the game even when he doesn't have a ball in his hand, even when he's not scoring. And when you're a Rockets team that struggles with athleticism, struggles with length from other teams, struggles just scoring, period. When you can have a guy like Amen who's going to give you offensive rebounds. Like tonight, Amen had 5 offensive rebounds. That is a huge number for a team. I mean, he had a third of their offensive rebounds for the entire team for the Rockets. I mean, that is a huge deal considering, like I said, the Rockets generally going to struggle from the field. They only shot 40% from the field today, but to be able to get those offensive rebounds with extra shots. Amen Thompson, like I said in the tweet earlier, he's at the point now he needs to be playing 30 minutes a game. Not necessarily he has to start. If he starts, great, but he doesn't have to start. You can play him at small forward. You can play him at shooting guard. Yes, I know he's not the greatest shooter, but he still makes plays. Of course, you can play him at point guard. Whatever you need to do to get Amen Thompson on the court, you have to do it, because he's one of the few guys on your team that's super athletic, that can get you the offensive rebounds, that can actually block shots on a team that's not really a good shot blocking team. And yes, I know Fred VanVleet was at the top of the charts when it comes to block shots, but we know a lot of those were slap downs, or actually should really be steals, but the count as blocked. But anyway, Amen Thompson, one of the few guys on the court on a team that has matchup advantage every single night. Usually with the Rocket starters, they don't have a lot of matchup advantages. You're usually going to have advantage with Şengün. That's why he gets double teamed. But Jabari Smith's not necessarily going to be taking advantage of anybody on the court and in the post. We know Dylan Brooks is not really an offensive guy. Jalen Green is hit or miss most of the time, let's be honest. And then Fred at 5'11", 6 feet on a good day, he's not a matchup advantage for the Rockets. So you're usually going to have a matchup advantage when Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore come to the game. We saw that tonight, both finishing with 15 points, which was huge. And not only that, the Rockets played defense tonight. I said the other night, the Rockets are only going to win consistently if they play good defense. They're not going to go out there and put up 120, 130 points. They don't have the team for that. So tonight they only gave 110 points to a really good Phoenix Suns team. They held Devin Booker, who struggled all night long. He was 7 for 24 from the field. And Durant, even though he had a good game, those 10 and 22, those were tough 10 makes that he had tonight. He didn't have any easy shots. The Rockets made him work for every single thing. And that's why the Rockets won tonight. It wasn't because of their shooting. It wasn't because they were lighting it up from three-point range, because they actually played defense tonight. And the defense leads to offense. When they're playing really good defense, they don't have to put as much pressure on themselves to actually try to score every single time down the court. Like against the Pelicans, they couldn't stop them, so they have to try to score every time. And like I just said, the Rockets are not an offensive juggernaut. They're not going to go out there and put up 130 points like the Indiana Pacers or somebody, and go out there, or Sacramento Kings, and go out there and just outscore teams. They have to be able to play some semblance of lockdown defense. Not necessarily like they were playing at the beginning of the year when they were top 5. I don't know if they can get back to that, but at least be able to slow down teams like they did tonight, and actually be able to set up their defense, be able to get those rebounds and get out on the break, and give Amen Thompson and Cam Whitmore and Jalen Green a chance to get out on the break, which you can't do if you're not stopping the other team. So the fact that the Rockets held Phoenix to 110 points and Phoenix only shot 40% from the field, that is a big deal, and that's the reason why the Rockets were able to pull this game out, because we saw the other night against New Orleans, they couldn't stop New Orleans to save their life. And when they couldn't stop them, they couldn't get out and run. They couldn't get out and get the advantage and have New Orleans scrambling. They pretty much, New Orleans was able to play a set defense all night, because New Orleans was just scoring on them pretty easily. So we saw the opposite of that tonight, and that's one of the biggest reasons why the Rockets were able to pull out this game. But again, Amen Thompson is the story of the night. He and Cam Whitmore, without them two, the Rockets would have got blown out. We would have a totally different story. We would have another blowout loss. And instead, they came in, changed the whole complexion of the game, and they are the biggest reason why the Rockets were able to pull out this victory tonight. And we are going to see a lot more of Cam Whitmore and especially Amen Thompson, because again, Ime was asked about Tari Eason, and again, no update, which is not a good sign. It's looking more and more like, and maybe a chance he may not even play again this season, because they said that during the ramp up process he has some soreness, he has some issues, so that's not a good sign. So you're going to be seeing more of Amen, more of Cam, and you're going to get to the point where Amen is going to be finishing every single one of his games. Because like I said, he doesn't have to score to impact the game. He does everything else on the court extremely well, and that's why he played 35 minutes a night. That's why against a super athletic team or a super long athletic team like OKC, you're going to see him a lot in that game. I guarantee he probably be playing another close to 30 minutes a game in that game. So that's definitely going to be an interesting game coming up on Sunday. Again, I just want to give a quick recap after a big Rockets win tonight. Their next game is going to be against Oklahoma City on Sunday. We'll see how all that plays out. Because again, Oklahoma City is another one of those really good teams in the league. And again, we appreciate the support. We appreciate everybody that hits that subscribe button. We're almost to 1,600. So if you're watching this, you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure you subscribe, because I will be out of the game Sunday. I will have the pre and post game interviews up on the site. So make sure you definitely check that out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button. And as usual, appreciate the support. And make sure you check out the next episode of Rockets Fuel Podcast.